guys, what's up and welcome to IGN Plays Live. I am Casey DeFreitas and I'm here with Filip Miucin, who will be walking us through some Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And also behind the scenes we have Mitchell Saltzman, our livestream producer.
What's up, everyone?
Hey.
What's going on, everyone? Great to be joined with you today, Casey. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. So you are about 10 hours into the game.
Yes.
I've never played it, but I got super excited about the Nintendo Direct that had the dragon turtle narrating the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And since then, I've been super stoked for this game. So.
Yeah, that's kind of when I really jumped on the Xenoblade train as well. Like I dabbled in Xenoblade Chronicles 3D on the 3DS. Like that was really my first exposure to the series. And I've been playing this for a little over 10 hours now, and I'm totally falling in love with it now. I've barely scratched the surface. This is a totally massive game. It's got so many different layers, but the way the game works is it just builds those layers upon, it introduces the game to you slowly. So it's very nice. It's pretty intuitive. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but I'm gonna do my best to show you guys exactly what I've done so far and what the game is all about at this point in the game. So right now we're in the, let's double check. I guess we're in the kingdom of, how did you say this was pronounced?
Araya or Araya?
Araya, yeah, don't.
If someone wants to correct us, please do.
Please, yeah. Yeah, this is sort of where the story has led us. Now we're not going to be messing with the main story at first. We might go into it in the second half of this live stream, but right now I'm just going to be doing some basic combat stuff, like showing you guys all the expansive areas in the game and just some different mechanics of how it all kind of works and comes together. So let's check out this little heart-to-heart moment right here. I saw this last night and I thought, I should totally save this for the stream. Kind of set the tone. So let's see. I have no idea what's going to happen, obviously. But these heart-to-hearts are essentially how you build relationships with characters. And there's different points all over the world where they're sort of stationed and labeled. So you'll be able to come up to them, activate them, and then build your relationship with characters in which then they'll get stronger in combat. You'll have more access to future items and stuff like that. It's really, really, really cool. So let's go and jump into it.
I made tea for everyone. Help yourselves.
So are these blades or your main party members?
So Pyra is a blade, and Tora is not a blade. Tora's a driver, but Poppy is Tora's blade. It's very confusing. There's so many different things going on, but I'll do my best to explain to you guys exactly how it works.
Tora just think that if Pyra going to
some technical difficulties.
Job, Pyra should be more
matey.
Tora, Pyra was kind enough to make tea. Can't you just be bloody grateful?
I had to wear 2 shirts today.
Oh, Tora, no, that, but also strive for perfection is important goal. Tora feel very strongly about this.
So Tora is a driver.
Yeah, Tora's a driver, and she's actually, or he or she, I'm actually not sure, but they have a really, really interesting blade that is totally modular, and you can change that blade's roles. So it starts out as a tank, and I'll show you guys a little bit of how that works, but you can change it to be an attacker or a healer. Very, very cool.
So I also have people asking if we should ask in chat or Twitter. Sometimes chat can get really fast, so if you absolutely want your question answered, I will always look on Twitter and I will see them. And I think let's back up a little bit. Blades are the weapons that you get in Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yes. Yeah, so blades are the weapons that you do get in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Let's get past this little heart-to-heart moment where they're all talking, and then I'll go into a little bit more of how blades and drivers work.
But is Pyra interested in essence of maidiness?
So yeah, as you can see in these heart-to-hearts, you do sort of have the option to choose your response in some situations, and I don't know, because I'm on my first playthrough, if it affects the story drastically, but I do know that there are some different things that do happen depending on the choices that you make. So I'm not sure if it changes the actual ending to the game, but we'll see.
Good attitude. Welcome, Tora's maidiest assistant.
How may I be of service?
So that's Poppy. That's Tora's blade.
Okay.
Poppy? What the hell happened to you? Is this
Poppy's maidiest mode has been activated.
Oh, maidiest Poppy will teach you all about essence of maid behavior.
Blushy crushy is external magnification of love feelings inside heart.
The dialogue in this game is awesome.
Way to magnify love feelings
Does she always talk like that?
Yeah, yeah, she's like such a bubbly character. Tora in particular, like Tora's dialogue is hilarious. I've had moments where I literally was just laughing out loud. Especially like post-combat dialogue that's exchanged is so hilarious because Tora's always trying to like fit in and be like one of the group. So it's hilarious.
There we go. Not quite. Poppy. Yes, coach. Please, Pyra, come back to us while you still can.
So as you can see, there's a ton of story in this game, and that wasn't even something that was mandatory.
Yeah.
You know, you could totally walk by that and never even touch it. But if you do, it does have its benefits. Like I said before, can gain like different abilities, get stronger with your characters. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, this is one of the main areas or one of the main kingdoms in the game. But let's go into a more open area. This is one of the areas that's first introduced when you sort of get past the tutorial part. And I'm technically still in the tutorial part, even 10 plus hours into the game.
Yeah, well, with huge RPGs like that, I feel like you're learning new things and new techniques,
Right.
all the way up until the end. Like things will just change on you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And one nice thing about this game too is like there is obviously a fast travel option, and the loads are quick, as you can see. Like it loads right in. It's not bad, and that's a great thing because you are going to be like jumping around a lot, going from different areas. So this is like going in this direction right here is the sort of town area, and you can see it sort of building in as we walk by. But it's gorgeous. I mean, these environments really are massive. And unlike other Xenoblade Chronicles games in the past, like I know towns have been a little bit stale, whereas there wasn't much to do there. You can get a lot of your item drops from enemies, but there's actually a lot to do in these towns. Like you can see right here, these are the sort of vendors, and this is where you can upgrade your blades, get different accessories, buy core crystals, and you use core crystals to actually upgrade your blades. There's even pouches, which I thought that was like an inventory system when it was first introduced to the game, but it's not. It's more so of like a consumable thing. So it gives you like these benefits. If you eat something, if you put it in your pouch, then you have like plus 24% attack for the next 2 hours or something. So it's cool. It's a little MMO-ish, like you would find with like an auto attack battle system, but it's completely single player. So it's very interesting in that. These are some lower level enemies right here. We'll probably take them out pretty quick. Oh, wrong button. That's the skip travel button. All right, here we go.
Okay, time to take you down.
Rex, let's go.
Let us make use of it.
So the battle system in this game is probably my favorite part of the game. It's so much fun. At first, it looks really simple. Like these guys will probably be able to take them out pretty quickly. Because they are so much lower than us. We're like level 22 right now. But then you can see that guy over there in the distance, that like gorilla looking thing crawling around. He's level 81 now. So
What level are you right now?
yeah, 22.
Yeah, don't go fight that.
Yeah, so
Don't do
you can definitely get yourself into a bit of a sticky situation if you run into the wrong areas, which is
So-
not fun.
So say you were to take that on and it were to kill you, what happens? What are the consequences to...
Besides instant death, well, you don't lose any XP, you don't lose any money. You actually just go back to your last checkpoint, which is not bad.
Yeah.
The game is pretty generous about auto-saving, especially if
Yeah,
you're...
but you can save whenever you want.
Yeah,
so
right.
you could save and then go do something super reckless, and if it doesn't work out, you'll just
Right.
pop back up.
Exactly. Like you can totally plan ahead, say like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to do this right now. Save and attempt it, so you can reload if you mess up. So let's fight this guy. He's level 18. We'll try and draw him out
Liger
first.
Rogel.
Let's see. It's
So
like
Sir Chuck88 on Twitch asks, is the game any different from the previous Xenoblade Chronicles? The one on the Wii U. And yeah, all Xenoblade Chronicles take place in the same world-ish, kind of. They have kind of like the same
Right,
themes, kind of
yeah.
like Final Fantasy, but they're all totally different games.
right, exactly. Just like Final Fantasy, they share like same core elements and mechanics. Like this obviously isn't exactly like the last Xenoblade Chronicles game. There's some pretty cool enhancements and improvements to the actual game itself, like within the combat system. But it does share like the same concept as to how things are supposed to work within the world itself. So there's a lot of stuff popping up on screen right now. You guys can see, I'm sure you've seen like videos of the combat system in action.
I'm kind of intimidated right now.
Yeah, before. And I was totally intimidated at first when I first loaded up the game, but it, like I said before, does a really good job of showing you how it all kind of comes together. So I'll show you some real simple stuff. Those special abilities that you saw me use in the beginning of the fight, those are called arts. So on the bottom right side of the screen, you can see that I have something called Anchor Shot, Rolling Smash, and Sword Bash. Now you can see Anchor Shot has a topple and HP potion effect. Now the topple effect is something that I actually just unlocked, and I know that that's sort of a staple point. Like those topple breaks in weapon abilities are like a staple point for Xenoblade. But that's something that doesn't even come in until just around the 10-hour point of the game itself. So we just got aggroed by this enemy. There is aggro in this game.
Oh no.
It happens all the time. Definitely is one of those things that keeps you on your toes. But it's good, because it keeps it interesting at the same time.
Will that, like... So I know in Final Fantasy XIV Online, super high level enemies will ignore you unless you attack them. Is that the same in Xenoblade?
Well, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question? I was so engrossed by this combat.
I'm so sorry.
No worries. Go ahead.
So say that level 80 monster, as long as you ignore it, will it ignore you?
Some monsters will ignore you, but from what I've seen, they get more aggressive as they get higher in levels. So I'm sure if I ran by that guy, he would probably see me and get mad at me that I'm even in his line of sight. So yeah, like there's definitely the higher level enemies will aggro to you. But what I've noticed is like they literally, you have to be in their line of sight for some enemies. So I don't know if it works differently with like audio cues for other enemies, if you just like walk by them and they don't necessarily see you but they hear you. But there's definite like visual aggro, because I've walked behind enemies and not gotten aggro, but I've walked in front of enemies and gotten some pretty intense aggro. So there's a level 38 there. I'm a little intimidated, and this is, like I said before, this is the starting area. So you're gonna see these.
Really?
Yeah, you're gonna see these types of enemies running in.
That's really cool. So you have a reason to come back to old areas, because I'm assuming they drop things.
Yes, definitely. There's a ton of reasons to come back to older areas, especially as you progress through the game. You'll open up new dialogue systems with characters that previously didn't have them, that were standing around towns, and those can open up entirely new quests as well, which is really cool.
So I know there's like a day-night cycle. Are the NPCs in town, do they have lives, or do they just kind of statically stand there?
From what I've seen, the majority of them seem to statically stand there, but the day and night cycle is, it does affect quests, and when certain quests are available, when you can accomplish certain tasks within those quests. So just yesterday while I was playing, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't find a certain objective that I needed to complete within a quest, and it's literally because it had to be night. So I needed to rest, which is really easy. It's in that save menu thing that I opened up earlier. The time changes here. I'll actually show you right now. So just pop this open and let's make it turn to night. So right here you can see, just spin the clock over and you can actually see the moon come up. So let's go into the wee hours of the night. Let's go to 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's just that quick. You just load back out and it's all of a sudden nighttime. Now that doesn't save your game. It doesn't auto-save your game from what I believe, but it does change the day-night cycle, which is cool. So let's see if we can...
Do you save a lot? When I'm playing these kind of games and I'm afraid of dying a lot, like I save all the time.
Oh yeah.
Is that this kind of game where you're going to want to save all the time?
Yeah, you definitely want to save as much as you possibly can. I've had moments playing where I got like a half an hour or an hour past something and then totally forgot to save and got annihilated by the boss.
Oh no.
So yeah, it's pretty bad when you do that. But at the same time, it's still fun to come back and try it again. And you know, if you know what you did wrong, you can correct yourself.
Yeah, and at least you can save. So as long as you can remember. I remember playing the old .hack games. You couldn't save when you're in a dungeon. You basically had to know when to leave, or you could keep going and then get completely destroyed. And those dungeons would take hours to finish.
Yeah.
And you couldn't save, so it would just be hours of progress just done with.
Exactly.
So I'm glad you don't have to worry about this with this, and I think it's an increasingly common feature in RPGs like this, where you're able to save whenever you want.
Right.
Which is a Big quality of life.
Save anywhere, yes. I
Yeah.
wish more games would have that. And let me show you guys real quick too. The camera here, just like in other Xenoblade Chronicles games, you can see that you can spin it out real far, but you can also move in really close to your character and then adjust the height within that. That's like a whole different mechanic. So if you do want to play the game and like get it nice and close, get a more cinematic art style, you know, visual experience while you're playing, you totally can. Like, I'm always messing with the camera, but in combat situations, you're gonna probably want it panned out like this. So this person, Garos right here, Jaros, has a side quest for us. I think we should try and pick it up. Let's see what they want us to do. So I can't leave my post, but I've got to do something. Something bothering friend? Ah, well, the thing is, we've got ourselves a little problem here. Tora want more info. The kids went out to play, but it's been ages and they haven't come back. Exclamation mark.
So right now, are you playing as Rex?
Yeah, I'm playing as Rex. You can swap between different characters. So if you did want to play as Tora, like you can play as Tora, or but you can't play as your blades. So you always have to play as a driver. Let's see. It's all well and good, but don't worry. I've asked them to stop. But you know, kids, they just want to help village. They just want to help the village in their own way. I suppose playing at Mercs. At any rate, it's not unusual for them to be late back. But whichever way you slice it, they've been gone an awfully long time. I don't want to overly worry, but you do hear stories. I want to make sure they're okay, but I can't abandon my duties. We're going to help,
right, Rex?
There you go. Of course. Let's do everything we can. You'll go and check for me. Thanks. That would be a huge help. The kids said that they were heading to Great Mall Rapids, or over Great Mall Rapids Way. Okay. I'd start looking there. Thanks a lot. Cool. So now we got to find that.
Some kids. Some children around Great Mall Rapids.
Yes, we're going to set it as our active quest. Now, one thing I do want to say about this game that I'm not a particularly big fan of is the whole navigation system. Like, actually getting around this game can sometimes be a little annoying, a little frustrating, because it is so big and it's so vertical. Like, there's a lot of places you can go. You can go up, you can go down, you can go left, you can go right. It's crazy. But it doesn't do a great job explaining exactly how you get to those areas. So you can see we're at the very top of the screen, we're following that exclamation mark, the single exclamation mark, to a point that's below us. You can tell it's below us because there's an arrow pointing below us.
Okay.
So there's an aggro right there. That enemy actually saw us. So these guys are going to be a little tougher. They're level 20. They're more up our alley as far as what we should be fighting.
Do you think the navigation is something that you just get used to from going to areas so often? I mean, you'll just know it? Or are you not in an area long enough to be able to develop that kind of knowledge?
Well, it really kind of depends. I mean, you can just stick to the main storyline and blaze past certain areas. But if you are in an area and that you'd like to explore, there are a ton of side quests that you can pick up within those areas, and it'll teach you about the people there, and you'll just naturally learn the actual map itself. Like this area that we're in right now, I became very accustomed to because I've been just messing around in this spot for the last 2 days because I've been having so much fun. I haven't wanted to move on and move forward with the story, and that's cool too because it helps you like level up much faster. Yeah, and
I'm one of those who just kills things on the way.
So that guy just fell off.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the second time that's happened to me. Like, that's how vertical this game is. Things will just like literally fall off in the midst of battle, and you'll lose it.
So Steven Sosa on Twitter asked, he says, I've never played a Xenoblade game, and I'm fairly new to JRPGs. However, I really dig this game's art style, and I'm a fan of open world action games. Do you recommend this to someone like me, or are the systems complex for a newcomer?
See, I consider myself a newcomer, and this is something that I, like you, Casey, was really interested in. I wasn't sure about it if it would be for me because I am such a newcomer to this series, but I totally recommend it to anybody who thought that the trailers or gameplay footage that they've seen looked cool. Even if you remotely like RPG experiences, I would say give it a chance, definitely, because there's a lot here. And it's nothing that you probably couldn't grasp if you wanted to take the time to understand it. And it's fun. It doesn't ever feel like you're studying or trying to figure something out, which I know some games can sometimes feel that way.
Yeah, they just throw you in and expect you to figure everything out. But from what I've heard from other people playing it and you as well, is that they do a really good job at teaching you things slowly,
Yeah.
but not too slowly.
Right, exactly. Like for instance, we have, look at all these aggros we have. We're fighting a cockroach thing and 3 different bats that are flying around. So basically, I'm gonna try and keep us alive here while this is going on. Let me explain.
Good luck.
Let me explain the the combat here and show you how it sort of goes from being simple to a little bit more complex.
Yeah, what is going on?
Yeah. So everybody in your party has a role, just like most RPG games with parties. So Rex is the main character that you play as in this game. He's the main driver, and you can basically set them to be every member in your party. You can set to be like a different role depending on what blade they have. Now blades are essentially what define your role. So Pyra is the main blade in this game. She is an attacker, whereas Poppy, Poppy, Tora's blade, Poppy, is a tank at first. But like I said before, she's modular, so you can totally swap her out to be an attacker or a healer. And Nia, the other driver in the party, is the healer character. She's the one with the tiger blade, which is really cool. Yeah.
So I was wondering, I was like, is that tiger a blade?
Yeah, that
So
tiger
they're-
is actually a blade.
That's so cool. So can you explain how you get the blades? Because this was one of the things that made me super interested in this game, because I am a huge sucker for lottery style pulls, and that's kind of how this works.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very similar to like, I wouldn't say it's very similar, but it's kind of similar to games like Pokemon. You don't actually catch the blade, or your blades, like you would in a game like Pokemon, but it is sort of like a random loot system where you gain these things called core crystals, I believe, and you have to bond with them. And I'll run you guys through that menu in just a second here. We can do one of them as an example. They're a little hard to come by in the game. From what I've seen.
One.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I just picked up a common
so
core
cool.
crystal. Yeah, so there you go. They drop from certain enemies. There's common ones, there's rare ones, and I even have a beast crystal. Oh, I keep pressing the skip travel button. That's the X button on the controller for those of you guys watching. Oh, and it's also the minus button. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to the blades menu here, and then you can see you can bond with a blade right there. So right now the only drivers that I can bond with are Nia and Rex. So let's go ahead and I used up all my rares, unfortunately. I wanted to get a cool blade, cool rare blade for this, but you can actually get a rare blade from a common core crystal as well. It's just like a much less of a chance of a drop. So let's go ahead and open. There's also a beastly core crystal, which I don't even know what that does yet. It's hollowed out. I can't use this core crystal yet.
Oh, I guess you got to get farther.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what that's going to open up into. It looks different too. It's like all blacked out and stuff, whereas the other ones are blue and shiny. So let's open this up, and then you can add these like boosters here. Now there's bravery boosters, truth, compassion, justice, and what those will do is they'll basically give whatever blade you get, which is completely random, a slight edge in either bravery, truth, compassion, or justice, and those will affect battle. Now I can't go too deep into those mechanics because I haven't played around with that too much just yet. But let's go ahead and throw on like a justice booster.
So do those affect how they act in battle?
Yeah, essentially they do, and sort of what enemies they'll end up damaging or doing more damage with. And there's like elemental types of damages here. There's enemies that are affected, you know, by greater damage with fire or electricity, certain things like that. So this is what it looks like when you're actually bonding with a blade. It's a kind of a long animation, but they're all really cool, and each one is pretty unique, I would say. So this is.
So are you summoning these from like other worlds? Like where did they come from?
That's a great
what
question.
What just happened?
I have no idea where they come from. They come from those little things there. It looks kind of like almost sci-fi in a way, especially with the way these characters are designed. So this is Hikmah, and like all of the blades have very interesting and unique personalities. Now the common blades themselves, their personalities will tend to be a little bit more similar, but the rare blades are just awesome. Like they're so cool. They're total characters in their own in this game, which is really awesome. And you can see Hikmah is an attacker, and she's okay. She's got 2 crowns. I think the most you can get is 5. The crowns are in the bottom right side of her stat screen right there. So It's cool. I definitely have better blades out there that I want to use for this. So let's see if what we can get with a Nia bond here with a common core crystal, and let's give her a bravery booster. Let's see what happens.
Is there any way? So if you get a new blade with Nia, is there any way to give them to Rex, or are they stuck with the driver that summoned them?
So you can actually pass certain blades between drivers. You can't, like, for instance, pass Pyra, which is Rex's blade, over to Nia. That's sort of like stuck there because of the story. Like, each driver has their main blade that the story gives them, but then these other blades that you sort of open up, see, like, here's a...
Oh, another one.
It's almost the exact same thing. Yeah.
So if you get duplicates like these, is there a system to combine the two, like transfusion, or can you like sell them for gems, or
you can dismiss them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you get anything for dismissing them?
I've actually never done that before.
Let's
so let's
dismiss her.
Yeah,
She's got one less crown than the other one.
She might be the worst blade I've ever seen.
Oh no, we're
Let's
sorry.
see.
He got a number 2.
So these are all my blades. This is a cool one. Adenine right here.
Yeah.
She was kind of a rare blade find that I had, or that I found. She's a healer, so sometimes I'll switch Rex to being going from an attacker role to a healer role if my party is taking a lot of damage. But let's find Higan. There she is. Hinanji. Oh my god, I was butchering her name. Yeah, Hinagi, yes. All right, so, oh, it won't let us, oh wait, is that her? There's another one right there. So there are some duplicates. Let's see if I can pass her. Nope.
Huh. Well, maybe it's in the customized blade menu.
Maybe I am in the wrong menu here. Let's
so,
see.
Someone on Facebook just asked, what is this game? This is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It came out today. And if you guys have any questions, you can hashtag us on Twitter at IGN Plays Live, or comment in Facebook or Mixer or Twitch or YouTube, and we'll get to you.
Strange. Let me show you guys a little bit about how that works with customization of blades and stuff like that, and different characters. So let's start with Rex. Let's start with the driver and let me show you guys exactly how you can customize your drivers, which in turn affects blades as well. So when you're customizing your driver, you can do things like enhance arts, which are your special abilities that are connected directly to your blades. You can also set which blades you have set. Right now I can only set 2 of them, but you can see right there's a slot for a 3rd one. I got to get there at that point in that game, though, in the game. So there's also an affinity chart, which is kind of like a skill tree, and your driver has one and your blade has one. So it's really cool. The driver one, you more manually choose what you want to unlock and set up. So here, like, you can see I unlocked Muscle Builder, which increases strength by 20. But then there's other ones that, like, as the skill tree grows, you can see that the effects are a little bit more interesting, a little bit more powerful.
Are these tied to the specific blades that you have equipped at that moment?
Well, drivers' skill trees aren't, but the blades themselves, like, their skill trees, of course, will change depending on, like, what sort of class they are. So let's go over to accessories. You can see right now my characters can only equip 2. They only have 2 accessory slots each. I'm not sure if it goes to 3 or 4. It seems like it does eventually, or I hope it does, because these accessories are really, really cool. They can definitely give you a huge edge, and you can see that there's rarity. There's different rarity classes, and the different effects that they have are just very, very prominent in battle, and do help a lot. Like, increase the HP restored when reviving a teammate by 37% is massive, because you will die a lot in this game if you're fighting stronger enemies.
Can you craft these, or are they just purchase and find?
You know, I haven't found a crafting area yet.
Okay.
So I'm not exactly sure, but it'd be interesting if they did have that. And this is that pouch thing that I was telling you about, so I can actually show you right now. You have pouches on your belt, and you can go ahead and throw different things in there that work like consumables. So that's right really here, cool. Yeah, and this is actually like a consumable right here. It's a leaf salad. It gives us plus 8% HP recovery and plus 8% max HP to damage barrier. So let's go ahead and throw that in there.
You know me well.
This is a delicacy.
And that increases their affinity.
Yes, a little bit.
Okay.
For 30 minutes. So you definitely want to time them and make sure that you're using them at the right times, like maybe before a boss battle or a really hard quest or something like that.
You know, what are the benefits of increasing affinity with your party members and your blades?
Well, I'm pretty sure your arts get stronger, but your specials definitely get stronger as well. And there are other things that you can do in combat, like chain abilities together with other drivers, which is really cool, and then those get affected by it as well. So you want to keep your affinity as high as possible with your driver. Yeah. So Pyra, you can, like I said, customize different things that, within blades as well. Like you can change their weapon modifications. And now this is really the only aesthetic type of customization within the game. You can't change costumes, unfortunately. Like you can't change the look of your character, but the weapons do change, and they change drastically, I would say. Like they're really, really cool looking. So
the costumes and customization is limited because the story is so huge.
Exactly.
I actually learned that the developers took into account the feedback from Xenoblade Chronicles X, because a lot of people were upset it wasn't as story driven as the first one. So they switched it and went back to super story driven for Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
This game has a massive story, and it has stories within that story. So there's a lot of stuff to explore. So the affinity for chart for blades works a little differently than it does for drivers. When I showed you the drivers one, you could see that I had points to spend to unlock certain things or certain new stats. But right here within blades, you can see that they are automatically unlocked. So let me see if I can switch between some random blades. So he unlocks some new stuff as soon as I switch, just by like playing with that blade, just by using that blade in combat. They just naturally level up like that, which is really cool.
Okay.
It makes a noob, a JRPG noob like me, play the game a little bit easier. So.
Does the tiger talk?
The tiger talks. Yes, he does, and you can ride him too, which is pretty cool. I can show you guys that too.
That's neat. So I guess some beast blades will act as mounts as well.
Yeah, but they don't make you. They don't
go any faster.
Yeah, you don't go any faster.
It's just cool.
Yeah, you can get certain things that do increase your running speed, which is nice. But this is totally just for looks. So this is kind of like accessories, except they're called aux cores, and specifically for blades, they do like a little different. They work a little differently than accessories do, because you actually have to empower them. You can find them, but they're empty at first. You can see like I have a bunch of empty ones at the very bottom here, and then.
Like soul crystals and
right, and that's kind of like
scrolls.
It works similar to how crafting works in other games, where like you need a certain amount of items to fill this, and then it becomes that item that you can then use.
Okay.
So that's, I guess, the crafting aspect of the game. But like sort of you have the blueprint right there, and then you need to get another blueprint to make that work, I guess, if you want more of those aux cores.
There's a lot going on in this game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still learning. I'm, like I said, 10 plus hours in. But I can definitely say that, like, the way the game teaches you is a lot of fun. Like, it doesn't make it stressful at all. So
the musical Nico asked, "Are you guys really feeling it?" And I haven't played this game yet. This is my first time actually being here while it's played live in front of me. And I don't know. I mean, I'm feeling it just watching it. I'm super excited for it, which is why I wanted to be a part of this today. Philip, what about you? Are you feeling Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
I mean, I've honestly been feeling it. Well,
hi, Zach.
What's up, Zach?
Zach has opinions on the art direction of this game. Don't at him.
He does have opinions. But he's got
his words.
He likes the art direction in this game. I know a lot of people actually aren't a big fan of like the massive anime art style that the game went for, but I think it works really well for this game in particular.
I think so. One of the reasons they went for heavy anime style for the main character specifically was because they wanted their expression. They wanted to be more expressive and felt that they could accomplish that with a more heavy anime style.
Right. Yeah.
And from what I've seen so far, I think it works.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like you can see if you get close to these characters. There we go. They definitely do have that sort of anime look to them. That's nice. I think it's rather pleasant. I think it works well for what the theme and the tone of this game really is. I'm gonna totally run past these enemies because they're all gonna aggro me. I need to get through this area, I guess, in order to continue the quest.
So that collection point just threw a bunch of fish on the ground?
Yeah. There's collection points scattered all over the game, so you can run up to those points and grab them, and they'll each throw something else out. Like, we were close to some weird liquidy stuff that looked like a horrible swamp, so that threw out some fish. But then if you get close to some rocks, like, it'll be like a mining thing, so like minerals will come out of it. Or if you're like in a farm area and you find a collection point, then like carrots and tomatoes will come out of there, or something along those lines. So okay, so I've been in this area before, but those enemies were not lined up like this. So this totally changed specifically for this side quest. So let's go ahead and see what happens. The kids are in trouble. Let's go.
feel like we should divvy up roles of who's gonna speak for
Yeah.
what character.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
I guess I'll do Rex and you do Pyra?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's
I'll do
another
the-
character that I can do?
Do the NPCs.
NPCs, all right.
Just do every other character.
Sorry, I've been very quiet, but just I feel like Casey's doing such a great job doing chat, and Philip's doing such a great job of explaining the game. I don't really need to talk.
There's just so much to talk about when it comes to this game. It's gigantic, guys. I don't think, like, we could talk for 2 hours straight about trying to explain this game and all of its mechanics, but it's so much that I guess the most we can do is really just lay out the basics and show you why it's so fun and it is, in my opinion,
Man, I'm wondering
RPG.
if specific enemies drop specific cores for specific blades. Or is it all totally random? Because if it's specific, I would be going back to farm stuff all the time.
That's a good question. I haven't experimented with that at all. Haven't opened up too many or bonded with too many blades, but that would make a lot of sense. So we'll definitely have to experiment with that. Talk to our wikis guide.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This is a question from Mitchell Saltzman from the other side of the room. So a couple of people have been talking about the Japanese voice acting and whether there is any Japanese voice acting. Do you know,
Yes.
is there Japanese voice acting?
You can download a patch that is also available today that
Yep.
includes Japanese voice acting.
And then follow-up question, how do you feel about the English voice acting so far?
I actually like it. I think it's good. I mean, it's not the best voice acting that's ever been done in video games, but I think for, RPGs in general, especially JRPGs, are notably don't have the best voice acting. But I think that the team over at Monolith did a great job with this. So it's, they know their stuff. It's an all UK team, I believe, or mostly UK team that did the voice acting, so it fits the tone of within what Xenoblade is and how it's always been, I guess. So I like it. It's good. But I'm excited to also check out the Japanese pack. I think that that's going to be fun to mess around with.
And again, this is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Nintendo Switch. And you don't have to play Xenoblade Chronicles 1 or Xenoblade Chronicles X to play this one. It's totally separate story, different characters. You'll be fine.
Right. So let's see. We just got a little update here. We have to go back to that guy and talk to that guy in that village. So we're just going to go ahead and skip travel. I think that would be the easiest way. Avoid that
Cool.
gigantic horde of
And then
sea
you can
beasts.
fast travel.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of people asking about what the game is about. Can you give a quick elevator pitch of what the story is in this game?
That is a good question.
Yeah, that is an excellent question. So basically, similar to other Xenoblade games, you play as a hero. Somebody on a big quest. No. So basically, you play as this character named Rex, and he's a salvager in this world. And in this world, the people live on these gigantic beings called Titans. And the rest of the world is just covered by this fog ocean. There's a specific name for it, but it just totally escaped my mind right now. But it's just a big, massive, foggy ocean, and the Titans are essentially the land masses that roam around. And so Rex is a salvager in this world, and his job is to basically jump down into the cloudy ocean and try and pull back up some cool stuff and feed his family. And one day, he got assigned a mission, or he took on a mission that was kind of like shady, to go and help some people find something called the Aegis, which is a very, very secretive, high-class blade. Now, this isn't spoiler territory, don't worry, it's like the very introduction of the game. Now, the Aegis, they ended up finding it, and it turned out to be Pyra. So Pyra is the main blade of the game. The whole story is kind of surrounding Pyra's adventure with Rex as they sort of go through the world together and try and save the, I guess, the whole thing. I don't know, I'm still learning, the story is still opening up to me, but that's as far as what has been explained thus far. Like I said, it just layers it onto you. So yeah.
So what's going on with the Titans? Are they dying?
Yeah, so they're basically they're in a state where they, I guess, the world is sort of coming to an end. They're fading away. They're dying.
That's terrifying.
It is, yeah. And you can see the Titan right there, or there's a Titan on your back right here. That's a baby Titan in Rex's backpack. So if you're curious to know what they look like when they're just born, that's what they look like. And then that little guy will one day grow up to be basically an entire continent
It's so
of
cute.
people. Yeah. So it's cool. I don't want to touch too much more on that stuff because that is a little spoilery, but
I want one.
yeah. The story is good in
What's
this
his
game.
name?
It's really good. As much as I just butchered the explanation of it, it's good. Don't take my horrible explanation for it. Just take my word for it.
That is a running theme in Xenoblade games, though, is that people live on the backs of Titans. And I know in the first one, it was the people of one Titan would war against the people of another Titan.
Right. Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Stuff like that does seem like it's happening in this game. So let's see where this quest takes us.
Should I be reading this?
You want to go for it? Sure.
Go for it.
We're real grateful to him and all the mercs here, but sometimes my sis gets a bit sad all the same. She always says she wants to eat a whole grass-smoked salmon like Mom used to make. Whenever I hear her say that, I get all angry in my belly. I'll get revenge one day.
Oh, no.
To kind of pay back the villagers, I've been gathering the kids to collect food and stuff for them. But I'm never going to get strong enough to avenge my parents like this. Alright, that's enough. I'm done.
Yeah.
That's good.
That was good job.
No, it
good
wasn't.
job.
No,
No, that
stop
was
that,
amazing,
Casey.
Mitchell.
Casey,
That was the best voiceover I've ever heard in any anime game ever.
I am not a young child. I cannot do that voice.
I liked it. I thought it was very impressive. So we have a choice. We can either dissuade him from taking revenge, or we
Taking
can
revenge on who?
on was it his parents? I don't know. I was so captivated by Mitch's accent there. It was hard to follow. Let him tread his own path. You know what? Let's be the better person here. Let's try and stop
I
him from
agree.
taking
Violence
revenge.
Is bad.
Yeah. So sorry, but no.
So, Bud Fainstock asked how it fits into the Xenogears universe, and all of the Xeno games don't really fit into each other at all.
Yeah.
Not really.
It doesn't fit in.
I mean, think Final Fantasy, right?
Right, yeah, like the way Final Fantasy works with how mechanics carry over and stuff like that is very similar to how this game works. But as far as story and characters go, it's totally a brand new slate. So if you're new to the series, it's a good starting point.
I did hear that there are some Easter eggs from Xenosaga in this game, though.
Yes.
In the form of blades.
Yes.
So that could be really cool if you're a Xeno fan.
Yes, I'm really excited about some of those Easter eggs. So yeah, we just completed that side quest, and you can see that we got a reflect damage up and an ambush boost, and those are ox cores that we can then fill and give to our blades. Now the rewards are a little, or have been thus far, a little underwhelming in my opinion for side quests, but it's still a fun way to sort of like grind without knowing that you're grinding, I guess you could say. And another cool new thing about this game that, and you can see right now that I'm gaining affinity with certain blades and stuff
Just
too.
by playing with them.
Exactly. So these are inns. Now inns, I think, are very, very important in this game, or at least they have been so far for me, because you have a choice. You never, you don't have to rest at them to level up, but you can rest at them to level up, essentially. And it's a way to kind of make the game slightly, I wouldn't call it easier, but less grindy.
Okay.
So as you can see, like your characters, as you do battle, they level up naturally in combat, but when you rest, you have this other experience that's sort of like deposited that you can then cash in and further level up your characters. So we only did a couple battles, so right now only Nia can level up, and probably only just one level. But if I had a ton of experience on reserve, like I could choose what level I wanted to bring her to. Like, so if she could go up to like 30, but I could choose if I wanted to only bring her to 25 or something like that. So
what would be the benefit of waiting?
Honestly, it's just if you want to sort of make the game a little bit more difficult for yourself. Okay. Yeah.
Or not make it in case you accidentally grinded too much.
Exactly. But you can also stay at inns to change tides. And tides are totally another mechanic in this game that I haven't even touched on, but they do also affect, similar to like how the day-night cycle works, they also affect what you can do within the game itself. So I guess now that we handle it, so these are some new like chat dialogues that obviously weren't here before, so let's see what they say.
I want to backtrack for a second. Have you
sure.
ever played a game and didn't know how to level up? So I have 2 experiences where this has happened to me before.
I feel like that has happened before to me, but I can't put my finger on that experience. But I'd love to hear what you.
So,
Yeah.
In Elder Scrolls Oblivion, you had to sleep
Okay.
to level up.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, is this one of those games? But I didn't know that. So I played the game for hours and it's like, why am I not leveling up? I don't understand.
Yeah.
And Bloodborne, same. You have to go turn in your souls. It was
Oh,
my
wow.
first. It was my first Souls game. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So, like,
Hey, Casey.
I know. So I was like 2 hours in, and I was like, I don't understand. I failed so many things. Why am I not getting stronger? Yeah.
Basically,
It was
just,
a huge
you
fail.
played that game on the secret hard mode.
Yep.
Oh wow,
yeah.
really?
Don't level up.
All right, so this right here is actually a story quest with Vandham. And Vandham is somebody who can be in your party. Oh, let me show you the...
Is that his blade behind him? Because it looks rad.
Yeah, that is his blade. Yeah.
Like a bird person.
He looks like a cereal box character. He looks really cool. I like him. So yeah, let's talk to Vandham and see where this next quest takes us right here. So just letting you know, it's a good way to Fonza Mime from here. Plenty of monsters out there on the road. Make sure you've got yourself all kitted up before we head out. Oh, I'm so ready for this. Let's do it. All set. Let's go. Let's get our backsides over to Fonza Mima Pronto. I can't say the names of these cities.
You, Zuo, take care of this place, yeah?
No worries. Leave it to us, boss.
Boss, you're in a good mood somehow.
I guess so. Well, take care.
Oh, this sounds sinister.
Ooh. We have some lurkers in the background.
Ominous. We should also say that we are 10 hours into Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so if you are sensitive at all to spoilers, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, we're gonna try and avoid spoilers as much as we possibly can, but obviously, like this is part of the story right here, so it is a little spoilery. If you don't want to see any of the story, I would say don't watch this part. But let's see. I don't think it's too heavy. It's still pretty early stuff. So
Yeah, I know we were saying we're 10 hours in, but some people have been saying it's taking them up to 100 hours to beat the main story.
yeah, it's at
So-
least 70 hours, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
at least. So we're only a 10th into the game.
Right. Yeah.
Tor Terrify says that's Best Boy, and I'm curious to know who they were talking about.
Is it the guy with white hair on the horn with the horns? Because he looks like Best Boy. I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
Looks like an Oni character.
He does.
Oni Musha, specifically.
Okay, cool. So now it's just automatically letting us change our party setup. So I actually kind of do want to use this guy. I was experimenting with like different sort of setups that you can have within your party. Like Rex is our attacker, Poppy is our tank, and Nia is our healer. But this guy, he's another attacker. So what I was kind of messing around with was having two attackers and a healer, just going for massive damage, not really, and sort of bouncing aggro between the two attackers. So let's see how that works. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be the smartest idea, but I'm feeling a little, I don't know, courageous here. So let's see if we can have some fun with this party setup and see how it works.
Like usually, like in Final Fantasy, in 14, the basic setup is just tank, healer, and two attackers. And
Right.
we like to have one long range and one short range.
Right, exactly. And I'm sure that it's similar to this as well. Like I'm sure that you like having something like two attackers and a healer is not the norm, but I mean it was working earlier. It might
It's
not work
definitely
later in the game.
fastest way to get through things.
Right, exactly. So yeah, here we go. So now this is back to the whole collection point first, but yeah, back to the whole navigating around the world. It's a little confusing. It's the markers on the map and on the screen don't do the best job of telling you exactly where you need to go. But let's go ahead and see that front path over there. It was blocked earlier. Maybe it's opened up now. So hopefully it is. Okay, it is. So yeah, earlier, before this live stream started, it was blocked, but I guess they opened it up, so I've never actually been in this part. This is all completely new territory for
Uncharted
me.
territory.
Yeah.
We have a question from J Fitzpatrick on Facebook asking, do all characters gain EXP at the same rate, or do they have to be active in the party to gain EXP?
They have to be active in the party to be gaining XP, and the blade that you're using, you actually have to use in order for that blade to be gaining XP. So even though I have 2 blades set, only one of them is gaining XP if it's in combat. So.
Looks like all the chat about the Aegis was true.
Who are you?
That's a
Is it
heavy
Team Rocket?
weapon you have there.
Looks like it, right?
Hold on to it, pipsqueak. See sense, step aside and let the big boys take charge. Come on, yield the merchandise.
They're after Pikachu.
Huh? What? Van Damme. Do you know this guy?
Never seen him in my life. Bah!
Wait. Are you...
You really are a bunch of rinky-dink, bogus, stupid, no-mark drivers, aren't you?
I have a feeling we're gonna have to fight these people.
Do it.
Behold the mighty Zeke von Gembu,
I named
bringer of
my
chaos.
Charizard Zeke.
Mostly known as Zeke. And
How's the chat look? Are there any more questions in the chat?
Someone wants to know what your shirt is referenced to.
Oh yeah, it's oh, let me not mess up the mic. It's a Metroid shirt actually.
But D&D,
Yeah.
Planets and Pirates. That's
There
very
you go.
cool.
So it's like one of my favorite shirts. I'm glad you called it out.
Good
Thanks.
notice, Roth Salty. If hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Roth Salty.
Good? No?
Spudley Deadly would like to know what's with Cockney accents.
Yeah, this game does have a lot of Cockney accents, and I like that. I think it's cool. It's a little different sounding.
You think you lowlives can lick the 3 of us?
3 of you? I count 2. Lost someone?
Huh? Oh, get a load of this. Our beloved mascot, Tartars, reveal yourself. Huh? Tartars? 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 Where are you, boy? Tartars!
Oh,
Oh.
Hello, little guy.
Is that their blade?
They come in all shapes and sizes.
Oh, yeah.
Tartars.
this is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this game is
the
really funny.
best.
You could have just grabbed Pyra there. Why did he go for his turtle instead?
He loves his turtle.
What an idiot.
Listen, whatever. She'll be mine.
I like his sword. Look at that. Great
Got a
sword.
problem with that? Then come at me, and don't hold back.
What? Is
I think
this
he's
guy
best
for
boy.
real?
Alright, so here we go. Jumping straight into a battle.
Let's show him a thing.
Man, I was not expecting that to go that way.
I know.
Considering how sinister it sounded when you first saw them.
So Nia has an ability that inflicts break, and break can be complemented with topple, which is the art that I have that's linked to anchor shot. So I'm waiting for her to use that. You can see that she's used it right now on the top. It says break. So if I time that correctly, I can break and inflict topple, and then a lot of enemies out there take a lot more damage when they're toppled. There's other things you can do, like you can fling enemies up into the air, which is a actually new thing to the Xenoblade Chronicles series. So it's really versatile in that way, but then you can also, like I said before, you can chain certain things, like chain attacks, and even those themselves have layers upon that. Like those chain attacks get stronger depending on if you combine them with different elemental special damages that you have. And each character is different. They all have different arts that they can use. So I'm using... This is Rex's special with Pyra. there's 4 different levels to specials. Now, if you look at the bottom right side of the screen, you can see where the arts are, and they fill up slowly. Like they're not usually filled up at the beginning of battles. One of them is, and that's because you unlock something pretty early on. Or I would say it's not an unlock, but it's more of a, or it is. It's an unlock in your Affinity Chart, where you can start the battle with an art ready to go on the X button. So I picked the arts that inflict, I guess, topple, which is break for Nia and topple for.
What does topple mean?
Topple literally means just to
knock them over.
Knock them over,
Okay.
yeah, just like this, which should happen in a second. Oh, did I miss it? I think, yeah. I guess you can miss certain arts as well if you don't do it right. But yeah, so on the right side of the art screen, you can see like a blue diamond, and that's filling up right now. It doesn't have any symbols on it just yet.
So the symbols next to like Steel Shackle Driver, Blast, Steel Back Attack, and Steel Shackle Blade, are those elementals that are attached to those attacks? Like Steel Back Attack will be electric, Steel Shackle Blade is ice, or what do those symbols mean?
Oh, those, yeah. Those were explained to me, I want to say 4 hours ago.
Okay.
But I have no. I mean, I know that they're linked to chain attacks. So as far as like how you sort of read that chart, I'm still trying to figure it out myself. But it seems like it's linked to these special abilities, which is like on the bottom right side of the screen where you see the arts. Now you see.
Your tiger's dead.
Oh, the tiger. Oh yeah. Okay, so she's dead.
No.
We gotta revive her. We gotta start paying attention more to what's going
sorry,
on
yeah,
screen.
this looks like you really need to pay attention.
No, it's okay. So yeah, to revive teammates, super easy. You don't need any special items. You just need to walk over them and press A. But sometimes it's not always convenient to do so in like the middle of a heated battle. Like right now, Van Damme just went down. Oh, and I just went down. We might actually lose this.
Oh man.
You can do it. When's the last time you saved?
Oh, a long time ago.
Oh no!
But I think we might have gotten an autosave before this, though.
Oh, probably. I mean,
Okay.
it is a boss battle. Can you revive your members?
It won't let me do it now because I accidentally used her special in the middle of it. Oh. I think, is it just 1 revive per battle? I think we're going to lose this one, unless... Oh my god, he's got like no health left, too.
You got it.
We got it.
Oh my gosh.
Last second. That was so close.
So do your people come back to life after a
Yeah,
battle?
yeah,
Okay.
they do. You don't need a revive potion or anything like that.
Good try. Not bad. But wipe yourselves down and get ready for my super ultra mega move.
We're waiting with bated breath for your super duper whatever.
You asked for it. Bringer of chaos. Ultimate lightning fury slash.
This game gets really, like, visually beautiful
I was
at
gonna
times,
say-
yeah.
Intense.
I was gonna say this game gets really anime.
I was
Yeah.
going to say the same thing.
This is like an 11 on the anime scale.
Yeah, I know one of the helpers who wrote this actually has worked on some anime, like a Rosario X Vampire,
Oh man.
Just happened.
and some other anime that I have never heard of.
What an idiot.
Don't see that every day.
Come on. That's enough nonsense.
Indeed.
I'm excited to see them pop up more throughout the story and
Yeah.
have their turtle. Chris Hartman on Facebook asked, what are those tethered people? The tethered people are blades.
Yes, those are essentially your weapons in this game. Let's see. Oh, so let's see what our current objective is. So yeah, we're still going over there. We have a ways to walk. This is a really cool looking area.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's really pretty and the music is really pretty.
Check that out. And you can actually
God.
go there.
Do you take fall damage?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
So I think
That's
if I...
really good to know.
Yeah. It's cool though, because like if you do fall from a high place and you like lose the majority of your health, it gains back really quickly if you're not in the middle of battle. So the one thing is you never really know what enemies are going to aggro.
Yeah.
Which kind of is scary at times.
So I got a question from Poke the Lump on the IGN chat. Once again, guys, you can chat with us on IGN.com. And I know you can't answer this, Philip, because you haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles X or Xenoblade 1, right?
Yes,
that
I have
correct?
not.
Yeah. But maybe I'll reword it. So, are you enjoying your game so far, and does this make you want to get into the Xenoblade series?
Absolutely, yeah. Like, I am an official fan at this point. I'm planning on finishing this game like all the way through. I don't care how long it takes me. I'm really like pretty committed to this at this point, just because I'm that into it. So I think that at this point, once I do finish this, I would be way more inclined to go back and play something like Xenoblade Chronicles X. You know, like I'm actually really interested in that whole concept of like a sci-fi version of this similar concept. So.
See, and I'm more into fantasy style stuff, so I'll probably stick with this one and the first one so I can see Shulk's origins, because the only thing I know about him is backslash and smash.
Backslash!
Backslash! Over and over again. Oh god, please.
So you can see, like, in the middle of this battle, I got aggroed by these other things that didn't seem to care about me earlier, but I think just because I'm in the middle of a battle, they decided to just run in.
Or maybe someone accidentally hit them.
Maybe, but I'm dead again. There we go, I'm back up.
Oh no.
Okay. So let's see if I can try and do some sort of a special chain. So what I was trying to say before was, every single time you use an art, your special gauge builds up. So you can see on the bottom of the right side of the screen where you see the arts, now there's a Roman numeral 1, and it goes all the way up to 4. 1 through 3, you build up through actually just using your arts in combat. So every single time I use it and I time it correctly, like your character auto attacks. So he'll auto attack, he'll swing all by himself, and if you press an art on the end of his swing, you'll see that like blue bubble pop up, and that oh no, we just died. Yeah. I was trying to save up my special gauge to actually show like a level 4 special, which is really cool. And the sort of like quick time actions that you have to
it can be kind of difficult to do to build up all the way.
Right. They're pretty difficult to build up, and then difficult to actually nail when you want to do it. Let's see if I can pull it off on one of these guys. So what's cool too is you can actually pull out enemies if you're afraid, like if enemies are grouped up and you think that you're gonna get a bunch to aggro, you can just throw like a rock at one, and then oh well, 2 will come, I guess.
Oh, no.
These come in pairs, but usually 1 just comes by himself. I think we can handle these guys.
So kind of like, I mean, they're totally different games, but like in Horizon, you try to attract some enemies over by just throwing rocks as well.
Yeah, yeah, and the game teaches you that like pretty early on, that you can like basically try and isolate enemies and maximize your chances of winning, taking them out one by one instead of in a big group like this. So yeah, like as the special gauge builds, you know, your different levels of special 1 through 3 are stronger, but the way that you get to level 4 special gauge is very interesting, and I like this a lot. It's cool because it makes it totally different. It doesn't involve hitting at all. It just involves how close you're standing to your blade. So if I get to special level 3, it'll stop growing even if I'm, you know, doing great with combat, but it'll start rising, and it'll rise really quickly if I'm close to Pyra. And at that point, they actually engage. I'll like hit A or whatever to make it activate, and then they'll start their whole like special cutscene that is really awesome. And
what are the downsides of being closer to your blade?
Closer to what?
Your blade. Like, are there any actual downsides to sticking close to them?
No, I think they encourage you to just like to be with them as much as you can. Yeah.
We got a comment from Hugo Panay on Twitch. Hey Philip, love your reviews, man. Keep up the great work.
Oh, thank you so much, Hugo. I really appreciate that. Alright, so here we go. I'm at level 4 now with my special. This is a good example of it. So right there, you can see I've got to time this B press, and then you mash B, and every single time I hit B, it does damage. See, like 300, 400, all that stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, so it really depends on like how good you are at getting that done, like how much damage you'll end up doing, on top of if you end up chaining it, which you can, and that's a whole nother complicated thing. I was able to do it like 3 or 4 times accidentally, like a chain attack, but I'm still trying to figure out how that works exactly.
We got 2 questions I'm gonna hit back to back. King Eli wants to know on IGN.com, do I have to play the first one to understand and enjoy the second one? I think we can all say no, you don't. Correct?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And then Jamie Jacobs wants to know, is there crafting or fishing in this game?
So we talked a little bit about this before. I'm not sure if there's full-on fishing in this game, but there's something called salvaging, which is a lot like fishing. And what you do with that is you'll find these certain salvage points that are right next to the water. So it looks like you could fish from there, but you can't. Rex is a salvager just by trade. So it breaks off into this little like cutscene where Rex jumps in and he pulls out a certain amount of salvage, and then sometimes you bring up enemies with you, but you always bring up a chest. And then that's another sort of like quick time event mini game that you play, and depending on how well you do with that, that sort of determines what kind of salvage you bring up, whether it's good or not great, or how many enemies you bring up as well. So it's a fun thing. Crafting though is I wouldn't call that crafting.
Those crystals.
Yeah, I guess you can call it crafting if you look at it that way, but I mean, you find essentially blueprints, and then you have to get particular items to fill those blueprints. So in a way, yeah, you do craft them, which is cool.
And Chris Hartman wants to know what the replay value is going to be. And
the replay value? I'm not sure what the replay value is like. I'm not sure if there's a New Game Plus. I don't think there is, but I do know that. I mean, I don't know if you, after you put like 100 hours into a game, I'm not sure how quickly you're going to want to jump into the second round of it. But this game will last you a long time. It definitely
it just seems
will.
like there's a lot to do.
Right. There's so much to do. Like even if you're not touching the story at all, just running around the world and doing side quests can last like tens and tens of hours. So let's try and get past this part and try not to get ourselves into another unnecessary battle, because it looks like we have quite a long way to go. But like, look at this scenery here. It's really something. I mean, it's nice. These colors are great.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Yeah.
I feel like Xenoblade Chronicles X also, from what I've played of that game, I remember being just blown away by the vistas. And I think this game elicits the same feeling.
Absolutely.
So I have noticed a lot of people are commenting that it looks like an MMO, and I can't help but to agree with that.
Yeah.
It does look a lot like an MMO.
It definitely does look like an MMO. It plays similarly to an MMO, like with the whole active combat auto attack system, but it definitely doesn't feel like an MMO when you're actually like playing the game and doing the story and all that stuff. It feels way more like your sort of modern, yet traditional JRPG. Yeah. So like I've been like, while I play this game, I get some similar Final Fantasy 15 vibes. Not so much from the story, not so much from the look of the game at all, but really more so about how the game, like how you navigate through the worlds, similar like to how towns work and how the combat works. So if you enjoyed playing Final Fantasy 15 because of how it played, then I think you'll find a similar sort of joy from playing Xenoblade as well.
So Mikoto69 asks, can you control someone else other than the main characters? Because I would be afraid if I buy it that it would go boring very soon, always being the same.
Yeah, you can actually. After we get through this battle, I'll go ahead and switch to Van Damme or Nia. Actually, I'll switch to Nia and show around the mount riding or the tiger riding.
And these kind of games always seem to have a lot of variety, because not only can you switch between your party members, but you can customize them with the blades that they can have, which completely change their play style.
Exactly.
So it seems like you won't get bored. There's so many
like, let me show you
things to tinker with and to play with.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can even switch blades during combat. So right now I'm using Pyra.
Oh, that's cool.
But, well, combat's over. But you can just literally press the LR button, and then that's like a hot swap for your blade. During combat, you have to wait till your blade gauge fills up before you can swap. But you can still do it during combat, which is totally helpful if you need to switch roles on the fly, like if you need to go from an attacker to a healer because your entire party's taking way too much damage. So we're going into this next battle right here with I guess this is a tank role for my character. I believe it is.
So again, this is Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and it's for the Nintendo Switch. People are asking.
So you can...
And speaking of it being on the Switch, how does it differ when it's in handheld mode?
So the only real difference that I've noticed while playing in handheld mode is, of course, the resolution change and just minor hiccups in frame rate.
Is it worse in handheld mode?
No, I wouldn't call it worse at all. It's just like more of a handheld type experience. I mean, obviously the Switch's screen is 720p, so you're not going to be playing it in 1080p like you are, or close to 1080p. I think it's just under 1080p on the TV while you're playing docked. But handheld mode itself, like, it seems to be running just fine. I prefer playing most of my Switch games in handheld mode, and I'm really excited about this game being on the Switch because it is so massive. I think it's the perfect kind of game that works well, you know, on the go. That works well, like, in your day-to-day life. If you want to take it to work with you or school with you, play it on your breaks, whatever. It's totally that kind of game that you can pick up and jump into and do a couple side quests and then jump out, which works really, really well. But with this game in particular, I do like playing it on the screen because I think that just the grand scale of the areas look better on a big screen TV. It just kind of builds that whole scene, that environment a lot better.
We got a bunch of people asking about how grindy the game is. Have you had a sense that you've had to grind so far?
So, I haven't had to grind. I've like basically done a lot of side quests just by pure like exploration, for pure exploration purposes. So as far as like grinding is concerned, I haven't run into any spots where I got stuck because I was under-leveled for anything. But the way that the way that the inns work is so that if you rest, you sort of have this like stock experience that's piled up that your character doesn't use after battles, that you can then deposit, almost like a bank system, to increase your level over time. And that's something that's totally optional, but that's how you alleviate the grind, which I think it was a genius idea because it still like leaves it to be a challenging game. It's a challenging game whether or not you do it, you do that or not, just because of how complex it is. But it makes it more challenging if you choose to never deposit that extra experience that you have lying around. So I don't know if anyone's really going to play it that elitist-like.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure there will be people who try to not love. I don't know if you can. This is probably one of those games where you can't progress if you're too underleveled.
Yeah.
Like, it's just an impossible thing to do.
Yeah, like I've heard of some people who got the game early as well, some just colleagues and stuff that work at different outlets who have gotten stuck, and people were like confused as to like what they should do. Like, you know, oh, I'm getting one-shotted right here. I don't know what to do with this boss. But it just turns out that after like a little bit of tinkering and like changing up like how your blades work or what blades you're using, you can usually figure it out pretty easily.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And R2JD2 asks, any idea how the game world size compares to others like Skyrim or Breath of the Wild?
Size as in length or?
I think how big the map is. I'm assuming world size.
I'm not exactly sure because I'm only 10 hours in. I don't have all of it unlocked, but the areas that I do have unlocked are gigantic.
I'm gonna Google it.
They're massive, yeah. But I would say that this game is probably just as big as a game like Skyrim, or something like I don't know if it's nearly as big as Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild is a massive game. But I'd love to see what I'm curious myself to find out what or how big the map actually is. So
Xenoblade Chronicles X's map was bigger than Skyrim's. So
okay.
There's that.
Yeah.
I don't see a size map for 2 yet though. That's pretty cool.
So this bird is difficult. I've never fought anything like this before. I've got like poison on me, splitting out all these effects. Yeah. Let's see if we can move the camera in a little closer so I can show you guys that it does look really nice when you get close. It's just a little bit more difficult, I would say, to play the game like this because you don't get to see as much, and I didn't even notice that guy was dead, so I gotta help him up. I think we might end up literally just running from this bird. It might be the better choice here.
Yeah. You're doing stuff to it.
I guess. Slowly but surely.
But does it do a lot of damage?
Yeah, it hits really hard. You see that? Like
okay.
1800. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to run away, that is your prerogative.
Let's see.
Maybe it drops really awesome rare core crystals to get really cool monsters from.
Yeah, there are like exotic enemies in this game, which is really cool. Like they look like other enemies with like slight differences, or they'll have a different name. And when you kill one, it actually says like, hey, you killed something special, like you killed this exotic enemy, and then it drops a pretty cool item item.
What was that? That was a gross attack bird
See?
thing.
Yeah.
Now you're stinky.
I'm getting poisoned.
You gotta use some deodorizer. Sayomi Senpai, thank you for noticing us, Senpai, says you need to break their stance and topple them for more damage.
Yes, we do. I need Nia to use her break ability so I can topple with her. See, yeah. We're dead. It's difficult. It does definitely get difficult at times. But you see, we didn't get split up, or we didn't get spit out too far back, so.
So, Mikoto69 asked about playing as Nia, for example.
Oh,
so
yeah.
could you switch to another character?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. So, characters.
And Metal4 asked if we can be a ranged character.
I haven't unlocked any blades with like ranged abilities just yet, like any sort of guns or anything like that, but I do believe they are in the game. So you just have to find them, you have to find the blades that have that sort of ability. I'm curious to see as well. But this is Nia, yeah, she's riding around on a tiger, and you can see that she is not running any faster. It doesn't do anything to you statistically, it just kind of looks cool, and,
yeah.
it does look really cool. Kind of wish Rex had a tiger. He can get blades that are like different animals like this. I haven't found any that have been worth like actually using in combat though. So, but let's keep rolling with Nia. She's the healer class, like I said, so her playstyle is a little different. You're going to be doing more of a support role with her, but the healing works a little differently in this game than it does in like your other typical RPGs.
Is playing as a healer fun? Because I know some games don't do it well enough to make it a fun thing to do.
Well, the healing in this game is actually, it's almost combat based, because you have these special moves that when you attack an enemy, that attack will cause like an HP potion to drop. So Nia has that move, so does Rex. It's called Anchor Shot for Rex, and it's actually the move that inflicts topple. I'm just gonna jump here.
How you take fall damage?
Yeah, we did it. Okay, we're good.
Okay, I was like, oh no.
Yeah. What was I saying? Something about Nia.
I'm sorry. I got totally distracted by you jumping off a cliff.
It's okay. Yeah. So let's see.
Where does Nia come from? Like, so I've seen a lot of different races, I'm assuming, not just blades. But, right. I mean, Nia and Rex are different races. Like, how does that come into play? Are they from different Titans?
Yeah. Rex is from a different Titan, a Titan that you meet very early on in the game. I don't want to spoil it too much, yeah, but he's definitely from his own Titan that is in like throughout the game. Like you'll be hanging out with that Titan a lot. So,
what do you think of the music so far?
I think it's really pretty.
I've found myself like literally not playing this game and like humming the music from the game, like especially the battle music.
I do that with Persona 5 all the time.
Yeah. So this is a little swimming area right here. You can see we're just kind of find our way up this area, or this spot right here. The arrow is pointing, it's telling us to go up. I think that we have to go up there, but I don't know how we can get across there. So we have to do a little bit of exploration, I guess, at this point.
So this was one of the things that our reviewer, Leaf Johnson, complained a lot about, that sometimes it took him a long time to figure out how to get to where he needed to go.
Right.
Is that something that you've also experienced?
100%, yeah. That's probably my biggest problem with this game, or my only problem with this game, really, is that because, like I said, it's so vertical, there's so much verticality going on, it gets confusing, and you know, this is as good as the map is right here. Like, you can't pull up a different kind of map, you can't move around the map too much, so when you do get to where you need to go, like when you do get to an objective that you're looking for, it shows up as a red dot on this map, but you can't like navigate through. You can't see if that's like lower. You can only navigate it by moving around.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
It feels a little clunky.
Like, yeah, like even just Zelda maps, if there's verticality, you can go through the different maps and find
Right.
the marker.
Exactly, and it would have made a ton of sense for this game, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, they didn't put it in there, so.
I guess they want you to explore and fight enemies that respawn, I assume, endlessly.
That's the interesting thing about this game in particular, is because the exploration itself is a lot of fun. Like,
And I mean, you did just find some treasure.
right, like anytime that, even if you're going in the wrong direction, you're still gonna find something that's gonna affect your character in probably a positive way. Like, you'll find there's treasure chests everywhere in this game. There's different collection points, salvage points that are spread out. There's a level 72 fish just hanging out right there.
What?
Ready to attack anybody. Yeah, so the enemies are pretty I don't know, all over the place when it comes to like what they're putting out there. There's lower levels, there's higher levels. You really have to be careful when you're exploring, because you can at any point, and there's been many times for me where I've just gotten attacked and just annihilated out of the blue, not knowing that I was even close to an enemy. Because some enemies like that bird over there that flew by are in the air, and they'll be like above you, and you won't know that you're running by them, and it'll just aggro you. And it'll be like a level 72 hawk that's just like starts pecking on your back.
Can you realistically just run away from them fast enough to not die?
Absolutely, yeah. If you have enough, like, obviously if an enemy is too high level, you might get one-shotted and then it'll just be over. But if you can take more than one hit, the game's pretty generous about giving you enough time to like actually flee, like make a decision, okay, I can't do this, and then get out and just run.
Okay.
So it's not too bad, at least from that point of view. Okay, so there's something there. I guess we can try and get up there. Yeah.
There's some stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, stairs.
There you go.
So kind of off topic, but Jake McConaughey on Twitch asked, what is our favorite RPG on the Switch?
Favorite RPG on the Switch? Xenoblade Chronicles 2, honestly.
Would you consider Zelda an RPG, though? I feel like this is way more RPG than Zelda is.
Yeah, I would consider Zelda more of like an action-adventure game.
Yeah, I always do
guess.
too. It's always an argument, like, which category do we put this game under?
Right, because Zelda like walks such a fine line, and for some people, I think some people do consider it an RPG, but for the most part, because like there aren't as many, like, you know, you don't level up in Zelda, you don't, you know, progress that way. So I think that's more reserved for a game like an RPG. So even though we have this thing, I don't know how to get in there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Can you? I guess you can't jump. Huh?
Oh
God, what is that?
Now we got aggroed by this crazy monster who's about to one-shot us. That's almost level
40.
Yeah. Whew. So that was a good like example of just running away from something that was about to totally annihilate
gave
us.
Up.
Yeah.
That's slowly paddling tigers. Too much effort for me.
Exactly. Let's fight something real quick. Let's see what this person does. I want to show you guys.
Garafa.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it's called.
Oh yeah.
Mylu Garafa.
I thought you were reading somebody's name in the chat. I was like, yes, please go ahead, read that question. Yeah. So let's show off combat with Nia and show you how like a healer works. So I'm gonna go ahead and use break right away.
Oh, she's a Toonblade. She like runs like the kite in that hack.
Yeah. She uses like these like chakram like things, I guess. That
those are cool.
Yeah. So you can see at the very bottom of her arts chart right there, she has something called Healing Halo, and that's essentially like her heal spell, but it's kind of weak, at least in the early levels. So like our characters right now, you can see like the majority of them have over like 2,000 health just naturally. But you can see Healing Halo, like, it doesn't bring up too much health. It only brings up like 400 or 500.
And how often can you use it?
Well,
like,
you
what's
have
the cooldown on it?
Well, the cooldown for that, it just depends on like essentially how often you can get an art combo in. And the art combos are like when you have an art ready to go after a certain amount of auto attacks. If you press an art ability at the right time, which is usually at the end of a weapon combo, then it activates that, which is a chain right there. Or it's not a chain, but it essentially amplifies the art abilities to grow faster, which helps your special grow a lot faster. So
what is it doing? That was weird.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was
Very
really
strange.
strange.
There we go.
But I guess, so the more fluid your fighting goes, the more often you can use your abilities.
Exactly, yeah. So playing as a healer just then, like I was doing pretty considerable amount of damage. The only real difference is that I'm just keeping an eye on my party's health and just busting out that heal spell every once in a while. But Nia like can definitely hold her own as far as like putting some decent damage output out there, so she does a good job at it. She's probably my second favorite character to actually roll around with just because of this cool tiger.
Yeah.
So,
So to come up with a conclusive answer for is Breath of the Wild a RPG or action adventure, I have started a poll on the IGN.com live player. So if you want to be part of that, go to IGN.com, click on the link for the Xenoblade 2 or Xenoblade Chronicles 2 live stream, and let us know.
do it.
This is seriously an argument that happens all the time, so thank you for your input.
You have 4 minutes to do so.
Let's see if we check our map. I wonder if we'll be able to see any sort of special area here.
Can we unlock more blades? Did we get any more of those crystals?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see.
You guys can see where my interest lies.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the blades. See, there's something in the options menu here that's still like questioned out for me. So I don't even know what that little thing is right there. And that's, you know, 10 plus hours into the game. So it's still opening up.
So I have another question. Can you save and then bond with a crystal and have it be different every time? Like, can you reset and see if it's a different monster every time?
I wish you could do that, but unfortunately, like right here, it says the game state will be saved.
Okay,
Yeah, so you can see it.
That is a good idea, Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Good for you on doing that.
Exactly. So you better choose wisely because you really truly only do get one shot with this. So
like a lot of games do that where they save before unlocking a lottery box system.
exactly, yeah.
And I used to play Puzzle and Dragons on the phone a lot, and a lot of people advocated for uninstalling the game and reinstalling to try and get a better starting monster. And people would just do that for hours, like restarting it.
So she's got like a basketball.
Yeah, but she looks the same.
Yeah, so they...
Hinaka?
That was volleyball.
Or is it volleyball? It's
It's
just,
a ball.
It's a ball, yeah. Shinome?
She does sports ball.
Yeah, there you go. And so like the different weapons that they have reflect on the weapons that your driver will then have. So if your driver, like, so Rex, if I equip her as a blade, then Rex will have some sort of a ball type weapon that's similar to that as well. And that totally changes up how combos work and how you use your different arts. Like you have to learn the rhythm of the attacks to time out your arts as well with them. So it keeps the game very interesting. It keeps it feeling fresh when you're using different weapons, and you're constantly changing roles to make sure that your party is able to like survive these different battles. Like I said earlier with Rex, I swap between being a healer and an attacker. Just whenever my party's health gets low, I'll just change to a healer just to try and give everyone some health, and then switch right back to an attacker role, and then go wham on the on the enemy.
No, another sports ball player.
Right, but this one has like a different elemental
It's a
thing.
different color.
Right, we've had some bad luck.
Yeah.
Because we keep getting like the same,
Design.
the same like character here. There are other different looking
Minazuki,
characters.
though.
Yeah, Minazuki. Nice, very cool. She's a healer. All right.
Are blades randomly generated, or do they actually have set? Is there an actual set list of blades you could pull up?
There are there's a blade collection. If you go back into the menu, you can see, or the blade album. So these are like reserved for like the
Okay.
main blades in the game. So there's a bunch of like, you can see blades that are the rare blades, like Adenine right here. She's a great blade.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if the common blades are randomly generated, kind of like, I don't know, like Borderlands guns or something.
I think so. Yeah, that's kind of what it
That
seems
thing
like.
was cool. I don't know what it was.
Which one? That thing?
Down to the left. That thing.
Yeah, that's
Like,
one of the things
What
that.
is that?
Yeah, Rex can ride that. That unfortunately though is a common blade.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's not that great. It's a healer
Oh.
as well. And then see that
A
she's
lot
got
of
a
those
cool
guys.
one. Yeah, like she's got like this hammer shield thing that's a tank character as
Mm-hmm.
well. So it gets really crazy.
We gotta go find a rare core
Yeah.
and bond with it before the end of the stream.
Yes.
That is what I want.
Usually like these, when you do the main quest, like it'll take you to like, you know, higher level enemies that drop things like that. So
Okay.
hopefully we'll run into something. But if we have enough time too, I kind of want to show you guys Tiger, which is like the mini game in this game that is actually incredibly useful, especially for Poppy, which is Tora's blade, and that you play Tiger in order to gain power-ups for Poppy's like modular system, I guess, and you can sit there and grind that game a whole bunch and try and like max out Poppy as best as you can, and that's really how you like level that character or that blade up. So it's really cool, and it's a fun mini game to play. It's really like a nice callback to like old school SNES games.
Yeah,
and
so
stuff.
I was this is something one of our reviewer actually pointed out, that the Blade Mastery's trees actually have to be leveled up to a certain point to get past certain areas that are integral to the story.
Yeah.
So you can't ignore your Blade Mastery trees. So you have to do those mini games and stuff to be able to progress eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. You totally have to keep track of like making sure that your characters are always like wearing the best equipment or leveled up, and that your affinity chart is filled out, because it does make a huge difference. You'll get to these certain parts in the game where there's like a barricade or something like that, and it just seems like it's blocking maybe a shortcut, but it's not. Like, it's actually blocking a path that you need to sort of that you need to destroy using your blade, or you need to get through using your blade. And the only way that you can is if you have the affinity chart progressed. And that, I guess, is where the game can feel a little grindy, because you might have to go back out and do some more quests, do some more combat to gain more affinity with each blade. But I think as long as you're resting in inns and stuff like that, it shouldn't work that way. So.
The Karma Zone said that this is a little bit, but the blade that we just summoned is a Blitzball from Final Fantasy with lightning around it. So they're Blitzball players.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
From Final Fantasy X.
Okay, we just got annihilated by three
by
birds.
That bird thing.
Yeah, there was like
water hill.
Another one too. Okay, well, I'm gonna switch back to Rex. I think we were doing a little better with Rex.
Not to push yourself too hard.
I mean, it's probably you get used to a character and gain muscle memory with them, so you know what to do.
Yeah,
a lot easier.
Especially like not just with the character, but with the blade too, which is really interesting because like each weapon feels so different. Almost like if you've ever played Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this watching this game actually because it looks like such an MMO.
Yeah.
It kind of has its same aesthetic.
Yeah, like I used to love Phantasy Star Online 1 and 2 and even Universe. So like this has like a very similar sort of, I don't want to say feel to it because it doesn't have a similar feel, but I get a lot of those vibes from this game. So
the aesthetic.
Yeah, the aesthetic, the way the weapons look, the way the characters use the weapons and stuff. If you've ever been a fan of those games, then you probably would dig this as well.
So the poll for the Zelda, is Zelda an RPG or an action adventure? The poll has ended, and 67% of you said action adventure.
Okay.
So Zelda is now officially an action adventure game.
Cool. That's it. It's official. Confirmed here. You heard it here first. Okay. I think, can we go this way? Is this a different way?
Zephyr X said try going up the tree branch.
Try going up a tree branch. Okay. Well, I don't know what that is, but it looks like something that we might be able to use. So I'm going to jump right here.
I get like vertigo. You jump off the cliff.
Stomach drop, yeah.
It's like, ah.
Yeah.
I was playing a game recently where I got that a lot. And I'm trying to... Oh, Monster Hunter Stories. I kept jumping off ledges and getting that feeling.
That game definitely has a lot of ledges in it. Okay, no, so yeah, we were here before. We couldn't do this. There wasn't a way up there. So, I wonder if Leif got stuck here as well. Our reviewer for this game. Let's see. Possibly if we stick to the wall. Maybe if we hug the wall. It looks like there's like a little thing over there.
You gotta hug the wall, and D&D rules just keep going left.
Right.
You'll get there eventually, right? I don't think that works with a vertical map, though.
Yeah, I guess it probably doesn't. All right, well, we're gonna do our best here, guys. We're gonna get through this. If anything, we can always go play some Tiger, which would be totally fine
I want
with
to see
me.
what that is because I don't know what it is. But
Yeah, in fact, let's do that, because the cool thing about this game too is like if you do get stuck like this and you want to just like walk away and do something else, you can. You can skip travel out of pretty much any situation that you find yourself in. So let's just go ahead and go back to Torgoth, which is like the main village, and I'll show you guys.
So, small segue. MTK STI says amiibo support.
I believe so. I'm not sure. I actually haven't experimented with that at all, so that's a good question to ask. I'll get back to you on that. Let's see. I haven't seen any amiibo options. Maybe that's like the last thing in the options menu. Sorry, I keep pulling up that screen. I'm so used to like hitting the save, and there's my home screen. I'm so used to hitting the save button. That's why I keep going there. But yeah, maybe this right here is amiibo. Who knows?
So, Ford 8484 asked how long is the grind towards the end, and we haven't gotten to the end of the game. Philip is 10 hours in, but he has done a really good job at explaining ways to get around grinding. Like you can use the inn and some other methods to level up that takes away the grind.
Like here's kind of a way that you can grind Poppy, which is another one of your drivers. She's actually not in our party right now. I'll throw her in our party just so we can take a look at her. Right here. And if you put her in the party and play Tiger, you can then level her up, and it's I guess it's a way to grind, but it doesn't feel like a grind because it feels like a totally different game. Check this out. If you haven't seen this before, it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. It's a totally different, like, retro style game.
And this is just for Poppy.
Yeah, this is just for
That's
Poppy.
Cool.
Yep. You swim through this ocean here, and it goes down first, but then it goes up, and you have to sort of collect these jewels, but you also have an attack. There it is. And the different enemies have, like, different ways that you can attack them. I can't attack that turtle from the top. I can only hit him from the bottom. And like that guy, I can't attack him from the bottom. I can only hit him from the top. So there's like, it's difficult. It's not easy.
How many hours have you spent on this minigame?
I want to say out of my total 10 hours with Xenoblade, 9 hours were with Tiger. So yeah, no, just kidding.
Final Fantasy 15, they have another arcade game that you can find in the diner.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called, but it's some like top game.
Oh yeah,
and I played that for 3 hours. I just sat there and I was like, I'm just gonna do it until I beat it. I did it, but oh my gosh, I didn't expect to spend 3 hours on a mini game.
Yeah, this is very similar to that, but it's cool because you're actually making your character quite a bit stronger if you do this. So it's totally worth the time that you do spend on it, as long as you don't die. Like I just did. I got all the way to the bottom and then died.
Oh no!
I know. Let's try it one more time.
And it said Ether 56. Like what was that?
Oh, that's the part of the materials that you use to level up Poppy. Like, she has her own, like...
Oh, so you get Ether by playing this game, and then can use that.
Right. Exactly, yeah. So, like, this, I believe, is the Ether. And you pick it up, and those are the points that you, like, use to deposit the different... I don't even know what they're called, but, like, the different parts that you can slot into Poppy because she is modular.
She's an android.
Yeah,
right? She looks like one.
She's some weird mechanism, walking robot thing.
Just so you guys know, we have about 22 minutes left in the stream.
Cool.
Good to know.
And we had a question on Twitter asking how often do we stream, and we stream every week.
Yeah.
Usually on Tuesdays, but sometimes games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 come out on Fridays.
All Nintendo games.
Yeah, so we do a little Friday stream every now and then.
If you guys see me streaming, it's probably going to be a Friday, because that's when Nintendo games come out. All right, so here we go. We're at the bottom. We got the big chest. This is where all the loot is. And we died again.
No!
It's hard. It's way harder to go up.
You have to get the chest.
It's way harder to go up.
I'm going to continue being unfulfilled until you get the chest.
All right, I'll give it one more shot, and then I'll be done. I promise.
So let's not distract you.
Yes.
So instead, I'm just looking up if there is amiibo support, which I surprisingly haven't heard anything about.
Yeah.
I feel like we should.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it either. So honestly, I don't know. I don't think there is.
Yeah, I don't know either. And I feel like if we did, we'd have a page about it on our wiki. And,
right.
I don't think we do.
Usually when games do have amiibo support, they'll be pretty adamant
Yeah.
about making people aware of that. However, I feel like I've heard so much news about Xenoblade, and it's been everything but amiibos. So
I know there aren't any amiibos out for it, at least not here.
right. So this is level 2 of Tiger, which I've actually never played before. I didn't even know that there were levels to this game.
Why is it called Tiger?
I'm not sure actually.
Tiger fish?
Maybe.
Beta fish?
Beta fish.
I don't know.
I got some air. Okay, good. So the air is the health. That's gonna help keep us alive, especially when we get to this part right here, which is totally sucks. It's very hard.
Yeah, so Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does not feature any amiibo support at this moment.
And it takes away your...
And none of the cast have their own amiibo.
Yeah.
No, that's very strange. Like, everything has gotten amiibo support
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah. It's weird that Shovel Knight has an amiibo, but we don't have Xenoblade amiibo. Ah, sorry guys. God, see what happens when I start talking about Shovel Knight? I start just naturally messing up. It's okay. All right, so yeah, we'll just go with the bees here, and that was Tiger.
That's kind of funny they let you put in your name because I mean it's just gonna be you every time.
Yeah, it's funny. It even lets it like mimics the whole like loading of a ROM. Like in the beginning, it says like loading ROM, like ROM check. It's really funny. They thought of a lot of cool different details to really put in this game, which I really like. So you can actually hear some of the music here. I think this is really nice. It's like really catchy. It's cool. It reminds me of even music that you would hear in like Final Fantasy XI. I know we're referencing Final Fantasy a lot, but that's like my biggest exposure to JRPGs, and I feel like this game does share a lot of similarities.
And I've played a lot of JRPGs, and yeah, it doesn't really have a whole lot of parallels with other things. It has a lot of parallels with a lot of anime as well. Kind of the first time I heard about the blade system, I kind of thought about Soul Eater.
Right.
And in that anime, you are paired with another person who actually physically turns into a weapon. So not exactly the same, but kind of a similar idea.
Right, exactly. Let's see if we can do some salvaging. I think that would be fun to show you guys how that mechanic works. I wonder if I have any... Yeah, I need to get some cylinders, but the good thing is you can buy those cylinders. And I believe there's a someone in the shop area over here that sells them. They're a little expensive, or at least expensive in early game terms, because I think they're like a couple thousand gold or whatever the currency is. But let's see. I think...
Hey, so backtracking, if you die in Tiger, do you not get the ether that you collected?
I think you still get the ether, you just don't get the chests.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Not a total waste of time.
Unfortunately, no, yeah. So, silver cylinders are the better ones. So let's go ahead and grab, let's grab 3 of these. And you'll see how the whole salvaging thing actually works. And I like it. It's fun. It's a cool little side thing to do in the game, especially if you're like trying to get some new gear or like make new core crystals, ox crystals.
So there are a lot of side things to do in this game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There's a ton of stuff to do besides the main quest itself, or even side quests.
I'm not gonna lie, I have a really short attention span. So when a game has nothing but a streamlined thing to do, I get kind of bored.
Yeah.
And this looks really cool.
Yeah.
Oh no, that didn't look cool.
Nope, it was not. I totally messed that up. Luckily,
Were you
I have
wearing
3
a
of
helmet,
them.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
He's okay.
Safety first.
He came back. So there you go. So that was like not a great salvage. Sometimes chests come up, usually when you do better. Sometimes enemies come up as well. Ooh, I just fulfilled something for a side quest there. That's cool. So you'll do that too without even knowing that that's happening, especially if you don't have those quests set as your active quests. So let's try this again. There we go. So this is actually pretty difficult. I've never been good at this one because the timing is very, very tricky.
I love the smell of salvage.
So there you can see it brought up
Fish.
a chest, yeah, and also an enemy or 2 enemies, which you just end up fighting right here in town. Luckily, they're super low level. They'll just go down pretty much right away.
So, Jake McConaughey on Twitter again asked if this is the best RPG of 2017, and if not, what game is. And I haven't played this game extensively myself yet, so I can't really speak to it. But I know that we will have a list of nominees going up soon-ish.
Yeah.
So you can check that out. But I have also I've played a ton of RPGs this year, and one of them, totally not a JRPG at all, but Divinity Original Sin 2 was really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that this year a lot. It has couch co-op, which is a thing that never happens anymore. So, and it's basically D&D, the video game, which I feel like you would appreciate considering your t-shirt.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I haven't played Persona 5. I heard that's...
Oh man, yeah, and Nier is another really good RPG that
Right.
came out. So there's a ton of JRPGs that came out this year.
Exactly. This is definitely the best RPG I've played this year, but I can't speak for the entirety of JRPGs out there because I haven't played other ones that I know are great, like Persona. So definitely keep an eye out though for our list of nominees that are coming up. So
I feel like we would have to have another discussion of Nier Automata, JRPG or RPG or action adventure.
yeah, you're right actually.
Yeah, that is another. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's...
I would consider Nier more RPG-y than Zelda or Horizon.
Yeah, I probably would too. I feel like it is.
But Persona is definitely more of an RPG than Nier is. There should be an RPG tier list.
But Nier
of the most RPGs.
Nier has so much action in it though.
Yeah,
like,
it almost becomes a bullet hell game at times, which is crazy.
Yeah, it does. Let's see if we can... Let me show you guys like the whole how you pick quests or like the quests that you already have. So like these are my active or non-active side quests that I can actually set to be active. So let's go ahead and see if we can accomplish one of these since that main quest kind of put us in a rough spot. So we're following this one now. Hopefully it'll... So yeah, okay. So it's not too far away. We just have to walk down here conveniently and finish this like carpenter quest that I was working on. I think it's more of like a fetch quest, but usually they lead to some pretty cool enemy encounters. So we'll see. Try and avoid that beastly gorilla thing over there. It is so scary looking. It's like, look, let's see. 81, yep.
God, it's the Beast Titan from Attack on Titan.
I know.
Not worth.
Not worth it.
Man, I forgot about these two other RPGs that I really liked. Monster Hunter Stories and obviously Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are two more RPGs that came out this year. There are a lot of really good RPGs this year.
Oh yeah.
It was a good year for games in general.
Yeah.
Last year I felt like I had nothing to play, and this year I have way too much.
Yeah.
Good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have, but I would need like 6 weeks to beat everything.
I've never had like this big of a backlog worth of games that like I have to go and back and play.
It's insane.
Why not?
So you see on something I actually never talked about yet was on the very top left of the screen, you can see a gauge is building up. And right now I have like one section of the 3 sections filled up. So I'll use it right now. I wonder if I can use it right now. Oh.
It's dead.
It's dead, yeah. But hey, they leveled up. Rex and Tora did. So
is there a way to change your HUD when you're in battle like this?
Change your what?
Your display.
Oh,
like the heads-up display.
You can change that. Like you can take information off, but you can't take off like the other notes that pop up, like when your characters have their abilities ready to go.
Or make it smaller.
Yeah, unfortunately you can't. No.
Is it difficult to play on handheld because of how busy it is?
You know, one thing is that it does get a little busy on screen. Like I do find the menus are like sort of overcrowding what's actually happening on screen, and that can be a little confusing at times. It can be like a little sort of frustrating and a little bit of a shame because what's happening on screen is so cool. Like the way that these enemies are actually fighting each other. If you're paying attention, it's cool. It looks cool. The animations are great. But when you're actually controlling what's going on, I'm more so just paying attention to my gauges filling up and health levels of people in my party. I'm not really watching the combat, but it's still like a lot of fun. It's still a really cool thing. It's just there's so much to pay attention to. So that gauge that I was talking about that was building up is my party chain ability, which I just realized. I'm pretty sure you have to get all 3 to get it to activate. And the way you do that is you press the minus button on the controller. But I think we're going to end up taking this guy out before we can use it. Yep.
Hearing everyone scream their attack names is kind of funny, though.
Yeah.
Spinning! Spinning!
Yeah, it's like, okay, we get it. You're using your attack.
Right. Okay. Getting closer to the goal here.
So, is there a multiplayer mode?
No, there's no multiplayer.
Okay.
Yeah, single player only.
Because I know there was some like squad multiplayer gameplay in the previous one. So I was curious if this was going to include the same. It sounded like a really cool mechanic, but I wonder if it just didn't work very well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the story is with that, but as far as I know, it's just single player. So, yeah, which isn't that bad.
All right, Philip, I got the big question here,
Okay.
and this is just from me. Do you think that Rex will be in the next Smash Brothers?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I guess it depends with how this game does. I mean, I would love to see him in something like Smash Brothers. I think it would make total sense to see, you know, Pyra and Rex show up. But will Nintendo actually do it? We'll see. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that one.
Maybe they'll replace Shulk with one of these guys. I mean, they do that.
I don't know.
So.
There's a lot of Shulk lovers out there too, though. That's the thing. But you're right. They have been known to do things like that. So maybe they will. Let's see what this guy's up to. Thanks for your help. That's it? Okay. But this is the thing. The uses the Confusion Ivy to decorate the furniture he makes. You'll find some on the tree, no bother. Or on a tree, no bother? Okay. So is it on this tree?
Regardless, no bother.
It's no bother. You'll figure it out. Okay. Well, thanks, Carpenter.
Would you consider, so Slinky Games says, would you consider this game more like Monster Hunter style combat? Not at all. Like, this is not like Monster Hunter. The core game or stories, totally 100% different. Not similar to Monster Hunter in almost any way, shape, or form.
Right. Like, this game is totally an active auto attack type game where, like, your character, like you can see right now, like, he's attacking completely on his own, except when I have these art abilities, which I just have 2 now that I can use. So that's what I have control over, is when I can use my arts and when I can switch my blades and the different chain abilities that you can do within that as well. But it doesn't mean that it's boring. It's definitely one of the furthest things from boring that it could possibly be. Like, this combat system is probably my new favorite combat system for RPGs that I've ever played. So I think it's really great. I think it's cool to see something new come to such a, I don't know, like a loved genre of games, you know, a new innovation like this. And I really feel like it is a new innovation and a new way to play it. So it's cool.
Come out.
All right, guys, we got about 7 more minutes left.
7 more minutes.
Get your last questions in.
More core crystal bonding.
More core crystal bonding?
That's what I want.
Ah, did we get any rare ones, though?
Probably not. Let's see.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No,
No.
just that beastly one, unfortunately. All right, well, let's go back to that other area that we were in. Oh, well, let's finish off this Ligar thing.
Ligar Rogul. That was like the first monster we fought.
Uh-oh, it had to happen, I guess, once in this live stream.
Well, what a great way to make it. Oh, no.
There's no
He's
chance.
just one-shotting you?
I got revived. I'm just gonna run.
Okay.
I'm gonna run. Run.
No, fight.
Fight. There's no chance.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
see?
I lied.
It's over.
Why did you listen to me, Philip? By fight, I meant fight for your life by running away.
Exactly, yeah.
I will say, though, one of the things that is nice from what I can see is that you get right back into it real quick. There's no, like, long loading when you die.
That's really nice.
Right. All of the loading in this game is really fast. Like, just going from this Titan to this other Titan here, which is a completely different area. Just a couple seconds, as you can see.
So,
Not too bad at all.
shall we?
So would you? So what is your verdict? Would you recommend this to everyone who owns a Switch, or is this more for just JRPG core fans?
Right.
Like, would you enjoy this if you did not like anime or JRPGs?
See, that's a really good question, and I think it can be a little. There's a certain line here that certain people can walk, and you can either fall into the side of like, yes, you can play this game, or you can fall into the side of like where this game definitely is not for you. A game like Mario and a game like Breath of the Wild, that's way more of a mass audience type of game where like you could probably play you could probably play Super Mario Odyssey with your mom if you wanted to, and she would enjoy it. But this right here, like, I think that most people need to have a little bit of a predisposition, or like they need to like games like this where there is a little bit of a grind, where there is leveling up, where there is a ton of exploration. I don't think that somebody who's never played an RPG before should go and buy this game and just jump into it for the first time, because I think that they will get overwhelmed. However, if you have played a couple RPGs and you're even remotely interested in this game, or if you just understand how RPGs work and you'd like to try this game out, I think that it's worth trying out, even though I keep dying for some reason.
It's because playing games while you're talking and holding a conversation is very difficult.
Especially when you're trying to like say your verdict about it. But yeah, long story short, I do recommend this game. If you are absolutely, if you're a Xenoblade fan, there's no doubt you should definitely get this game. If you like RPGs and you have a Switch, I think you should definitely get this game, because this is one of the best RPGs to come out this year, if not the best. So,
and again, you don't have to have played the previous Xenoblade Chronicles to understand this game at all. They're totally separate stories. Don't worry about it.
Exactly, yeah. So like, there's no need to go back and play the old games before you jump into this one. You can totally just start fresh and experience it for the first time as it is, because it's got its own story, its own world, its own set of characters, and it teaches all of the mechanics that you might feel like you don't understand now just by watching us play this game. You'll learn them pretty quickly on in the game, and the game does a great job explaining that, so don't worry too much about that. So my verdict, yes, if you like RPGs and you have a Switch, definitely get Xenoblade. If you've never liked RPGs before, I don't think that this game does anything different to make you fall in love with the genre itself. So, like I said before, I myself have never been a gigantic RPG fan, JRPG fan, but this game is something that has totally captivated me, and I'm really excited to play it 100% till the end, so.
You're gonna kill this, right?
Oh yeah.
And get a rare crystal in our last minutes of the game.
We're gonna do it.
We gotta pray to the RNG.
Look, did he just go flying?
Oh.
Oh, it's over there. So it looks like this guy
Chris asked if he liked Final Fantasy 15, should he get this?
Yes, I was a huge Final Fantasy 15 fan, like 15 in particular. So I think about that game all the time while I'm playing this game, just because there's so many similarities within the combat and the way the game feels while you're playing it. So if you liked Final Fantasy 15, I 100% think you should get this game. You'll definitely like it.
And I know that we've gone over this before, but King Eli asked, does it have a good story or is story-based? And from what I've heard, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, the story is really good. I like it a lot. There's a ton of cutscenes in this game, so like, obviously that comes hand in hand with a lot of JRPGs out there, so get ready for a ton of story, get ready for a ton of dialogue and cutscenes. But for the most part, it's all really interesting, it's really fleshed out, it's good stuff. And like I've said before too, I've found myself like laughing out loud just at like post-combat dialogue, just because it's so entertaining.
The cutscenes we've seen have been really funny.
Yeah, the cutscenes are great, the characters are great, they all have such unique personalities, and it's just a fun game to play.
All right, did we get any crystals?
Let's see, I'll check the menus. Blades. No.
No? Okay, let's open some crystals.
Yeah, let's open up a common core crystal. I'll use this Justice Booster. I think these help with maybe getting a rare blade, so we'll see.
And I keep saying open. You're not opening a booster pack. You're bonding with crystals.
Yes,
It's
we're bonding.
different. It's definitely not a blind boxer at all.
It's cool when it flashes, you can see the different like elements, like it's fire, water, electricity.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So there's
I recognize this guy.
Yeah.
But it's new to the stream.
Yes. So yeah, the common blades, they look pretty similar. We've seen 2 different variations, but they all, for the most part, have different weapon sets, or for the most part, different weapon sets.
They're like the Rattata and Pidgey of Xenoblade. I feel bad for them.
Yeah. But the rare blades themselves are really fleshed out. They all look very unique, very distinct. And not just in the way they look, but the way they talk, their personalities. It's really cool. Like, it's surprising to think that those are just weapons in the game, but they're not. They're more than that. They're their own characters with their own story arcs and relationships.
Do you see yourself choosing a blade to be your companion based on their personality, even if they were just terrible?
Oh, this might be a rare blade.
There's music.
From a common core crystal. Check that out. I'm so excited right now.
She even has voice acting. Well, I guess the other ones did too, but, you know.
A little samey.
I swear this. I will uphold virtue wherever our path leads us.
Is she a healer?
That was a little over the top.
Okay, that was a very weird choice of movement.
Yeah.
Let us attend.
All right, Perun.
All right, Perun is an attacker. Cool, but she is a rare blade. You can see what she's...
Look at all those crowns.
Yeah, check out those crowns. Yeah, I'm stoked. I kind of want to equip her. Let's see what she fights like real quick. How much time do we have there, Mitch?
We have...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta wrap it up. Well,
So-
let's just equip her real quick, yeah? Or maybe not.
Where is she?
Is she here?
Lost forever into the abyss.
No.
No, there she is.
Oh, is that her? Okay, cool. Let's just see her on the battlefield, and then we'll wrap up this stream. Switchblade. And there's my new rare blade. I'm excited to check this out. It's gonna be cool. Yeah, I guess...
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We do this about every week, maybe not with us, but if you want to check us out, you can follow us on Twitter, me at ShinyKCD.
And I'm at Filip Miucin.
And Mitchell, if you want to...
Yeah, you can follow me at Jurassic Rabbit. I don't have a fancy graphic for it, but...
All right, well, thanks a lot for watching. Again, this was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Have a great day.
Thanks.
No! We lost the upper hand!